Dragon Ball Z is considered by many to be one of the greatest anime of all time. If you were a kid growing up in the 90s, Dragon Ball Z was probably your introduction into anime. Today I will be explaining the entirety of the series from memory. The only problem is, I haven't really watched the series since it originally aired many years ago. Let's see how well I remember the story. Alright, so we're starting with the Saiyan saga. Goku on the left, that's the main character. That's his wife Chi Chi, she's a human. Goku's a space monkey man, and that's his son who's half space monkey man, half human. His name is Gohan. Um, on the first episode of Dragon Ball Z, this guy shows up, Raditz, who's also a space monkey man, and he says that he's Goku's brother and that he's come to take Gohan, and so he kidnaps him, and he's like, I'm gonna kill everybody, or whatever, I can't really remember, but he's mad. So Goku has to join up with his green rival slash enemy, whatever you want to call him, Piccolo, as they fight Raditz to try and stop him. They both get their asses kicked a bunch. It's kind of unfortunate. So Goku has to grab Raditz from behind while Piccolo charges up his special beam cannon, which goes through both of them. As Raditz is dying, he's like, there's two more Saiyans coming to the planet, and they're going to be even stronger than I am. You have like a year before they show up. So Goku dies. Everybody else starts training. Goku's running up what's called Snake Road. It's this long road that leads him to this planet that he's going to called King Kai's planet, where he's going to train and become stronger. So he's running there. That's King Kai. He's a little blue guy who helps Goku train, make him stronger. During this time, Piccolo's beating the crap out of Gohan. At some point, he just throws him in the forest and is like, go ahead and deal with it yourself. This is how you're going to train. I'm just going to leave you here. I'll come back in 6 months. After all the training, Vegeta and Nappa, the two Saiyans that Raditz was talking about, show up. They're both way stronger than Raditz was by like a lot. The first thing they do when they approach all the good guys, which are known as the Z Fighters, they put out these little green guys called Cybermen. The Cybermen kick the shit out of everybody that is not Piccolo, Gohan, and Krillin. And even then, they still kind of kick the shit out of them. But they blow up Yamcha, who's just a regular human. Chaozu, who blows himself up. He's a little clown-looking man. And Tien, who gets killed by Nappa. He gets one of his arms taken off. He has 3 eyes. We'll see him later. But they all kind of suck. Krillin and Piccolo try to fight Nappa. They don't really do much to him. He just kind of dodges and does whatever. He doesn't give a shit about them. Piccolo's killed before this happens. Goku shows back up. He's wished back to life, I think. He comes back. He kicks the shit out of Nappa because he's so much stronger. There's something in this series where if you're a Saiyan and you get the crap kicked out of you, you come back stronger once you're healed. So that's what happened to Goku. He died. He got the shit kicked out of him. He died. He trained on the planet with King Kai. He came back, so he's way stronger. He beats the hell out of Nappa. It's not even close. He just beats the shit out of him. There is a whole series of time where the Z Fighters are getting their butts kicked. He's running back down Snake Road to come back. But he kicks the shit out of Nappa, breaks his back. Vegeta doesn't like that. He's like, you're a bitch. He throws him into the air and kills him himself. He makes him explode. And Vegeta's like, all right, it's my turn. So there's a bunch of fighting between Goku and Vegeta, leading to what most people know from Dragon Ball Z in the early days is the Gallic Gun Kamehameha beam clash, where they go back and forth with their beams, fighting each other. Then inevitably, Vegeta gets his ass kicked. At some point, he turns into a monkey. That's a thing. If they have their tail, if they're Saiyan and they still have their tail, if they see a full moon, they turn into a giant ape. He creates a false moon, turns into a giant ape. His tail gets slashed for a sword by a character named Yajirobe, who doesn't really matter. He's just kind of a comedic character, but in this series, he plays a little bit of a part. And he was bigger in Dragon Ball, which I'm not going to talk about. But Vegeta gets hit by a spirit bomb thrown by Krillin, which was made by Goku. A spirit bomb is when a bunch of energy from things around the planet that you're on come together to give you their energy, and then you can throw it like a big ball. That will come later on. That gets used a few times in the series. Anyways, Vegeta gets his ass kicked. Instead of killing him, Krillin was going to stab him with a sword. Goku tells him to just let him go. Just let him live. He doesn't need to die. And that will come back as Vegeta becomes a mainstay of this series. Alright, Saiyan Saga's over. We're on to the planet Namek / Freiza saga. First up, they learn that there's a planet. Everybody's beat up. Half of them are dead. Piccolo, Tien, Chaozu, Yamcha are all dead. Krillin, Gohan, or Piccolo's also dead. Krillin, Gohan, and Goku are fine. Goku's beat to death because he was fighting Vegeta. They learn that there's a planet called Planet Namek where there are more Dragon Balls because the Dragon Balls on Earth, which, by the way, there's 7 Dragon Balls. If you collect them all, it summons this dragon. You get a wish. On Earth, you only get 1 wish. But they learn that there's another planet where if you go to it, there's Dragon Balls that give you 3 wishes. So they're going to go back and use the Dragon Balls to wish everybody else back to life. And in order to do that, they have to travel to this other planet. So they call it Planet Namek, which it turns out Piccolo, who was supposed to be some sort of demon thing, is actually from Planet Namek. They're just a race of green alien people. So Gohan, Krillin, and Bulma show up on, and Bulma's another character. Bulma and Gohan and Krillin show up on Planet Namek at the same time that this guy, Frieza, and his henchmen Zarbon and Dodoria are also hunting for the Dragon Balls so that Frieza can wish for immortality. It turns out that Frieza's a bad guy who blew up the planet that Vegeta, Goku, and all the other Saiyans came from. He blew them up. He enslaved their race, all that good stuff. There's a movie you can watch that does that about Goku's dad and all that crap, but I'm not going into that. So, during all this time, they're hunting for the Dragon Balls. They're running into Dodoria and Zarbon. Vegeta ends up killing both Dodoria and Zarbon at some point, which gets, and in that process, he summons the Ginyu Force. The Ginyu Force is 5 funny-looking alien people and one guy that kind of looks like a human that are like Frieza's elite task force, and they come to stop Vegeta, Gohan, and Krillin. They don't know about Bulma, probably. During all this, Gohan and Krillin, Vegeta, and Frieza are all in some way interacting with the Namekian race as Frieza's killing them. Gohan and Krillin meet Dende, this little green dude who helps them out and helps them summon the dragon later on. Anyways, the Ginyu Force, they take on Vegeta, Krillin, and Gohan in some capacity. The green dude, Goldo, gets killed by Vegeta, gets decapitated by him. Vegeta fights Raccoon, the big red-headed guy that looks like a normal human kind of. Vegeta gets the crap beat out of him. About that time, Goku, who has recovered and is flying to Planet Namek, arrives, destroys Raccoon in one hit, which is super dope, and then has to fight Jace and Burter. Burter is the blue guy, Jace is the red guy. He's like the right hand to the purple guy, who's Captain Ginyu, the main guy. So Goku fights Burter, and Jace beats the ever-living crap out of him, but leaves them alive. Vegeta gets pissed, comes back, steps on Burter's neck, breaks his neck, and kills him, and then destroys Raccoon with like an energy blast or something. So Jace takes off with Captain Ginyu. So Captain Ginyu wants to fight Goku. They start fighting. Goku beats the shit out of him. Captain Ginyu, turns out, has this ability to swap bodies with someone if he can hit him with the beam. He swaps bodies with Goku, so now Goku's the beat-up Ginyu. Ginyu is now Goku. Gohan has to fight his dad as Captain Ginyu is in his body. And then at some point, Jace is killed by Vegeta. And then Ginyu goes to swap bodies with Vegeta because he's getting the crap beat out of him as Goku. So he wants to do it again. But in that time, Goku grabs a little alien frog that's on the ground and throws it in the middle of the beam. So Captain Ginyu gets turned into a frog. And Goku gets to go back into his body somehow. I think that's how it works. After all that, Goku's beat to hell. He comes back. He doesn't come back. Sorry. He gets beat to hell. He has to stay in this chamber that like heals him. So during this time, the Gohan, Krillin, and Vegeta are fighting Frieza, and they're kind of getting their ass kicked. At some point, they get all the Dragon Balls. They resurrect. They wish for Piccolo to come back and get to them. So Piccolo joins the fight. And each time that Frieza starts to get his ass beat by somebody, he turns into his new form. So he's got his first form, his second form, which is him taller with horns, going straight up, and then his third form is like the xenomorph, like from Aliens kind of thing. And then his fourth form is this clean, like bald version of him. And then his final form where he gets all jacked, but we'll get to that. So Frieza gets to his final form after fighting, each individual character a bunch. And about that time, Goku's finally healed. He comes back. He's way stronger because he got the shit kicked out of him as Ginyu. So he's way stronger. He starts fighting Frieza. At some point, he goes, I have to use the Spirit Bomb, which we saw in Saiyan Saga. He uses the Spirit Bomb, but it's way bigger. Like in the Saiyan Saga, it was just in the palm of his hand. In Frieza's Saga, he's got a gigantic Spirit Bomb, and he throws it, and it hits Frieza, and you think that that's going to kill him, but it doesn't kill him. It just messes him up a lot, which pisses him off. Frieza gets pissed. He kills Krillin by throwing this little energy beam in him, throwing him up in the air, and then making him explode. And that creates what is well known as the greatest transformation of all time, Super Saiyan Goku. For the first time, we had always talked about this. We knew it was coming at some point. In America, we just didn't know. It had already happened in Japan, but in America, we were like, oh my god. He turns into Super Saiyan. He beats the ever-loving crap out of Frieza. Like, it's not even close. Frieza gets pissed. He uses Destructo Discs to throw at Goku, but gets slipped and cuts himself in half. He gets pissed. He begs for forgiveness from Goku. All the while, Planet Namek's about to explode. There's this whole meme about 5 minutes, and I can't believe I forgot that, but I'm doing this from memory. The planet's gonna explode in 5 minutes, but it takes like 40 episodes to get to the point where we're at now. So Frieza begs for mercy. He's cut in half. He's just kind of floating there, which is weird. Goku gives him some energy to get him off the planet. Frieza uses that energy to try and shoot at Goku. Goku gets pissed. He calls him an idiot, and he fucking just blows him away. And that's the end. And then you're like, okay, so that's the end of the Namek saga. Everybody but Goku and Frieza were left on the planet after the other wishes were used to revive everybody and bring them back to planet Earth. Onto the Android Saga Cell Saga. So first thing that happens is the Z Fighters are kind of hanging out on Earth. Everybody's back, including Vegeta, who's hanging out there. When they sense this presence, it turns out it's Frieza again with his dad, King Cold. Frieza's like a part robot because he got blown to hell from the planet, but they rebuilt him as a robot. Everybody's scared. They're like, what are we going to do? But then it turns out this guy pops up out of nowhere with a sword, blue hair. Not blue hair, it's purple. He's got purple hair. I'm thinking of Super. He's got purple hair. He comes up. Frieza's like, yeah. He sends his guards after him. The guy beats the crap out of him. Frieza gets pissed. The guy goes Super Saiyan. We had just seen Goku do it, and this new guy does it instantly like it's nothing. He cuts Frieza in half, just messes him up, cuts him into a bunch of little pieces, and then blows him away. And then he kills King Cold like it's nothing, which is also pretty cool. So everybody's like, who is that guy? And he comes down and he goes, hey, I'm here to see Goku. He'll be here in a couple of hours. Sure enough, Goku shows up. He fights. The random guy fights with Goku. They fight. The guy uses a sword, and Goku like blocks it with his index finger. Like he never lands a hit. He just blocks it with his index finger. And they finally stop fighting. And the random guy goes, I need to talk to you over here. So he goes over and he's like, hey, my name's Trunks. I'm from the future. I'm the son of Bulma and Vegeta. And Goku's like, what the hell? And he's like, you're going to die from a heart virus in 2 years if you don't take this medicine, and, you will die. So everybody starts training because he's like, these two androids are going to come. They're going to, in my timeline, these two androids have just destroyed the city. Everybody's dead. It's just a nightmare. They're coming, and you have to stop them. You have 2 years to train. Goku, don't die. Take the medicine. So 2 years pass. Everybody's trained. These two androids show up. It's an old man and a clown-looking doofus. And they just kind of start fucking shit up. So everybody's like, these are the androids that Trunks was talking about. And by this time, they've already had little baby Trunks, I believe. So they're getting messed up. Goku has like a heart attack, essentially, after going Super Saiyan and fighting the android that looks like a clown. Also, they have these things in their hands that can suck up energy. And so if you use ki blasts on them, like the little laser beams that they shoot out of their hands, they'll just suck them up and get the energy. So Goku starts having a heart attack because he didn't take the medicine. And about that time, Vegeta shows up, and he can go Super Saiyan now, which is also new. So everybody's starting to go Super Saiyan. This is in the series where it's like everybody just starts attaining those next levels. It's not as crazy as when Goku did it. And this is like just a little bit after that happened. There was some filler, but I'm not going to talk about that. So Vegeta shows up. He's Super Saiyan. He rips the clown's arms off because he knows they're sucking up his energy. So he rips his arms off and blows him away and is decapitated, and he crushes his head, which is pretty dope. And the old man android runs away. And when they get to, Trunks is there with them. And when they get to the androids, at some point Trunks gets there. I can't remember how the timeline works out, but he gets there and he's like, those aren't the androids that I was talking about. Those are two completely different ones. Turns out that old man was the creator of the other androids. His name's Dr. Gero. Doesn't matter. He's going to die pretty soon. So Dr. Gero's running away because the clown android got beat up and killed. So he runs away back to his lab and releases 3 androids, 2 of which are the ones that Trunks is talking about, and 1 that didn't get released in his timeline. But because the Z Fighters intervened, the 3rd one is woken up as well. So the 2 are Android 17, who's the little short guy with black hair, and Android 18, who's his sister with blonde hair, and then Android 16, who's the big guy in the back. There's been canon changes recently where the guy, the tall one, Android 16, is actually the son of Dr. Gero, or the grandson, I can't remember. I think it's the son of Gero. Anyways, the Android 17 and 18 are the ones from Trunks' future that he's talking about. They came out, they kill Android 20 because they're like, we're not going to listen to you, chop his head off, and then they unleash 16 as well. It's also good to note that they all have bombs in them that, like, if a button is pushed, they'll explode. That comes into play later. So anyways, Android 17 and 18 are just real dicks, and they like to beat people up. Android 16 just wants to kill Goku. That's his directive. And he likes birds. That'll come into play later. All right, so they beat the hell. Android 18 beats the hell out of Vegeta. Like, they just proved that they're not ready. to fight these androids. And about the time they're getting the crap kicked out of them by these androids, this guy shows up. His name is Cell. He's this green-looking monster, bug monster thing, and he's sucking people up through his little tube thing on the back of his tail. And it's basically, we learn from him talking to Piccolo, is that I'm here to suck up androids 17 and 18 so that I can become my perfect form. I'm from the future. I stole Trunks' time machine. I've been waiting for this moment to happen. I'm going to suck them up. In this picture, he sucks that guy into like a bag of skin, which is really crazy. So he finally gets around to, he sucks up Android 18 first and becomes the second form Cell, which is even stronger. Vegeta comes back as a Super Saiyan after training in the hyperbolic time chamber with Trunks, which is a place where time goes much, much slower. It's like a year in there is like an hour in real time or something, or a day maybe. So they train in there, and then when they leave, Goku and Gohan go in. So Vegeta and Trunks show up. They have this form where it's not the next form of Super Saiyan. They just get super big and bulky. It slows them down, but they're much stronger. Vegeta kicks the shit out of Imperfect Cell. I'm remiss if I don't mention that before they show up, Tien, who's the three-eyed guy from early on, who's only died and not really done much else. He was a much bigger part in Dragon Ball. He shows up, and as a human, slows down this version of Cell for a long period of time. He like blows these holes into the ground, just keeps stunning him and blocking. It's so cool. One of the best scenes. Watch that scene. Anyways, Vegeta shows up, beats the shit out of Cell. Cell starts getting his ass kicked, so he's like, he takes advantage of Vegeta's pride and goes, let me get 17, let me absorb 17, and then you can have, you can fight the real me. So of course Vegeta's like, great. It's also a point to mention that Cell is made up of cells from all the different people, from like Goku, Vegeta, like all the different. So he knows all their moves as well as like how they feel and stuff. So that's how he knows to talk to Vegeta like that. So 17 and Piccolo are fighting at the moment because Piccolo is fused with Kami, as well as Nail, who he fused with on Namek, but he's now fused with Kami, the god of Earth. So anyways, Cell absorbs 17 and becomes Perfect Cell. In which he just becomes way too strong. He just beats the crap out of Vegeta. Everything's terrible. Goku shows up and he's like, hey, I'm taking my friends out of here. And Cell is like, okay, I'm going to hold this tournament. It's really weird, but he's just like, I'm going to hold this tournament in three weeks or something like that. I can't remember. It's a period of time where there's time for filler. So he's like, but when I do basically his tournament, I want the best of the best to show. He wants Goku, Gohan, all those. That's who he's really talking to. Who also shows up is Hercule, who will come in later on. He's like the world champion of Earth, the people of Earth that don't know that these crazy super monkey people exist. So anyways, the tournament starts off with Goku versus Cell. They fight like crazy. By the way, while in the hyperbolic time chamber, Goku has gotten even stronger, so has Gohan. They both become Super Saiyan. They can stay in Super Saiyan. They don't have to drop it. So Goku fights Cell. There's a bunch of back and forth. It's kind of even. At some point, Goku, one of the coolest things is he does an instant transmission, which is a move he learned where he can just kind of teleport, basically. And he's getting ready to like Kamehameha into the ground, and Cell's down there. He's like, you're going to blow up the planet if you do that. And he's getting ready to blast it, and he instant transmissions right below Cell, blows him up, like blows half of him off. Like the top half of his body is gone. The only problem is Cell can regenerate. As long as he has any cells remaining, he can regenerate. So Goku finally is just like, you know what? I've had enough. He's like, I stop here. I'm going to let Gohan fight you. So now it's Super Saiyan Gohan versus Cell. And it's very one-sided. Cell just beats the crap out of Gohan. Like it's not really even close. But Goku keeps saying that Gohan unleashed something in the hyperbolic time chamber, and that's what he needs to do to take care of Cell. So Cell starts spitting out all these little Cell Juniors, these little blue guys that look like him. They're just kind of as strong. They're beating the crap out. Everybody's getting the crap beat out of them by these little guys. And about that time, Android 16's like, I'm going to grab Cell and explode, and then that way you can, he'll die. I can take care of him, and then the Cell Juniors will die, I assume. It turns out later in canon, I think the Cell Juniors are still alive. Anyways, when he tries to do that, Cell basically destroys him. His head's the only thing left. Gohan has come to understand that Android 16 is not a bad guy. He just had a directive that was installed into him. He just loves birds and stuff. So Cell crushes Android 16's head, and you see his little chip in his brain and a little light flashing on it, and it dims out. And this is what causes Gohan to snap. and become the first instance of Super Saiyan 2, true Super Saiyan 2. He becomes a complete badass. This is one of my favorite scenes. I think anybody that watches Dragon Ball Z, this is one of their favorite scenes. He fucking just starts destroying those Cell Juniors. He's chopping them in half. He's just wrecking them. He's so fast. And then he comes to finally fight Cell. He kicks Cell or punches him so hard that Android 18 is vomited out of Cell, turning him back to his imperfect state. So Cell starts freaking out. He balloons up like as big as he possibly can, and he's like, I'm going to blow up, which will blow up the planet. There's nothing you can do about it. Now, if you punch me, I'm just going to explode. If you touch me in any way, I'm going to explode. Kind of his trump card. So Goku pops up with his instant transmits, and he's like, don't worry, I'll take care of this. I'll take him somewhere. He takes him to King Kai's planet and explodes, killing King Kai and Goku. And everybody's like, okay, well, Cell's dead. Gohan did it. But it turns out that Cell came back as Perfect Cell. Super Perfect Cell, I guess. And he starts fighting Gohan. He's stronger because he has the cells from the Saiyan, so he comes back as stronger because he essentially died. And he's like, as long as one of my cells exists, I can regenerate. So he comes back. He breaks Gohan's arm. They have a beam struggle. Gohan only has one arm. Vegeta saves the day by throwing an energy blast at the back of Cell's back, which distracts him. Gohan overpowers him and just evaporates him. He's just gone for good. He's just dead. And that's the day. They say the day Goku stays dead. He's like, I don't want... This was supposed to be the end of the series originally, I believe, is where it's passing the torch. Goku's passing the torch to Gohan, who has shown that he's the strongest warrior. But money's money, and I'm sure they were just like, keep going. So next comes the Buu Saga, and this is where it's going to get a little wonky, because this is the one I don't really remember that well. So the timeline's going to, if my explanation hasn't been messed up enough, it's going to get even worse. Anyways, Buu Saga, there's a time skip. Gohan's now a high schooler. He's dressed up as someone called the Great Saiyaman. He fights crime, but he's not really training himself as much as he should. He meets this girl named Adele, who turns out to be, remember I mentioned his name earlier, Hercule, the world champion of the world. His daughter is Videl, and she kind of falls in love with Gohan. They kind of have this thing. They end up getting married later on. Hercule is like the world champion, and he plays a big part in this arc. So there's a world tournament. Everybody's excited. Goku's dead, but he gets a wish from Baba, who's this little old lady on a crystal ball. And she gives him 1 day to come back and participate in the tournament. So everybody's going to do it. Goku, Vegeta, Gohan, Piccolo, Android 18 is good, because I forgot to mention, and I'm going back to Cell. Android 17 stays dead, but Android 18 becomes good. She falls in love with Krillin. I don't know why, but he played a hero role later on. He had the chance to blow her up. He didn't. So Android 18 is here, and she's a good person now. There you go. All right, so they're at the World Tournament. They have to do this test where they punch a punching bag to kind of give a score of their strength to where they'll be in the tournament. So everybody's just, all the superhuman people are coming up, and they're like tapping it, and it's giving these really high scores. Then Vegeta gets up there, just punches the shit out of it, and it explodes. It's one of my favorite scenes from that little series of episodes. So they're all getting ready. They're all, doing their fights, and this guy shows up, and he's got a mask, but it turns out it's this guy named the Supreme Kai of this planet. Or this, I can't remember. It doesn't matter. But he's this little guy, and he's like, hey, Goku, please don't kick my ass. There's a bad guy named Babidi, and he's going to release evil onto the world. You need to help me. Can you help me? This is Babidi. He looks like a little yellow fart head, like a little yellow nutsack. He sucks. He's got Dabura, who's a little devil guy with him, with the M on his head. We'll get into that in just a second. All right, so they go to fight they fight like a couple of alien henchmen of Babidi. They kick their asses. They're like, well, this isn't too hard. Dabura, the devil guy, shows up, and he kind of beats up on Gohan. Vegeta's like, what the hell, dude? And he's getting pissed. He's like, why am I having to watch this? Like, I'm way better than everybody. So Babidi uses that time to give Vegeta his own M by mind controlling him and giving him this M, making him Majin Vegeta, which is supposed to make him stronger. So they go back to the World Tournament. Vegeta starts killing innocent people, which pisses Goku off. They get teleported to another part or they go to a different part of the Earth where they can fight. Goku gets the crap beat out of him by Majin Vegeta. And then around that time, Goku's gets knocked out or something. And yes, Goku gets knocked out by Majin Vegeta. And about that time, Majin Buu shows up. Turns out he's real bad news. He's like Cell, kind of. He just can't die. unless you just completely evaporate his body. That's how they do this. So it's like every villain, it's like you have to destroy all of them. So, anyways, Vegeta tries to fight Majin Buu, learns that he just can't really do anything to him. He's just kind of taking the blows. He's like putty. He's like gum. So Vegeta's like, I'm going to off myself. I'm going to kill myself in order to, with this big blast that will just kind of evaporate everything and kill Majin Buu. So he says goodbye to his son Trunks, who's a kid at this time. Also, Goku has another kid named Goten. They're both there. He knocks them both out, and he's like, Piccolo, take care of these two. I'm gonna nuke myself and kill Majin Buu. So he nukes himself. He turns into stone. He falls apart. He's dead. But Majin Buu does not die. Then there's all this kind of, this is where I can't remember, like all this crap happens. Majin Buu somehow becomes friends with Hercule and this dog and this little puppy. And at some point, these two random robbers cause the hell that is about to unleash. They shoot the dog. That pisses off Majin Buu. He gets so mad, a gray Majin Buu comes out of him that's more evil. They fight. The gray Majin Buu wins and absorbs the pink fat Majin Buu and becomes Super Buu. So now he's even stronger. He's like jacked. He's not fat anymore. He's like jacked and he's way stronger. So he goes to fight. At this time, Piccolo takes Goten and Trunks into the hyperbolic time chamber to train them and teaches them the fusion dance. So they learn to fuse. They become Gotenks. Super Buu gets into the hyperbolic time chamber. While they're there, they transform. Turns out they can go Super Saiyan 3, which also happened already because at some point Goku fought Majin Buu. I forgot about that. Goku fought Majin Buu and became Super Saiyan 3, which pissed Vegeta off because he's like, what the fuck? He's like, I thought I had surpassed everybody becoming Majin Vegeta, and it turns out Goku was holding back the whole time. Anyways, Goku has to go back. His day is up. So now we transport back to where I was with Piccolo and Goten and Trunks. They fuse. Turns out they can also become Super Saiyan 3. They fight Buu. They wreck the door to the hyperbolic time chamber so nobody can get out, but Buu does this scream that like rips a hole in the time chamber and he can get out. Gotenks does the same thing. They go and fight. Gotenks is fighting Majin Buu, or not Majin Buu, Super Buu on the tower, and then he goes down. They fight on Earth, and about this time, Gohan is training with the Supreme Kai of Time and Elder Kai, who's like an older version of the Supreme Kai, who gets busted out of a sword that Gohan is training with Goku about. Anyways, the old Kai unleashes Gohan's powers, makes him stronger, and Gohan goes down to fight Super Buu. He kicks the shit out of Super Buu, like it's not even close. He's just beating the crap out of him, but he's also arrogant. So during this time, Buu absorbs, he can absorb characters. So he absorbs Gotenks and then he absorbs Piccolo. So it becomes, at that point, Piccolo or Gotenks Buu. And so Goku gets wished back to life in some capacity, right? And then he comes back and he's like, hey, we're going to fuse. The Elder Kai gives Goku his life so that he can go fight with Gohan so they can fuse using the Potara earrings, which fuse two bodies together and make them even stronger. So Goku goes to Earth. He meets up with Gohan. Gohan's struggling a little bit because Buu has absorbed the other characters. Goku throws Gohan the Potara earring. Gohan misses and then gets absorbed. So Buu becomes Buuhan is what he's called. So anyways, Vegeta shows up, getting the same pass that Goku did, which he gets to come back for a day. So they fuse into Vegito. It takes a little bit of time because they think like, oh, if we put these earrings on, we're going to be fused forever. But they're like, we got to do it. So they fuse. They become Super Vegito, which is basically Vegito, but Super Saiyan is just a fusion of them going Super Saiyan. It's super dope. One of my favorite things from Dragon Ball Z is Vegito just absolutely dominating Buuhan. It's like not even close. Buuhan even absorbs Vegito at some point, but it doesn't work. They bust out. But at some point, they get turned into candy, which beats the crap out of Buu, but at some point, he gets them inside of him. And during that time, Goku and Vegeta, they split back, so they're not fused permanently. Later on in canon, they were too strong, so the Potara earrings kind of broke apart. Here, it was just like, they just go, I don't know, we're just not fused anymore. Anyways, they find the bodies of everybody that's been absorbed by Buu, including the fat Buu from the beginning. They cut everybody out, and that causes some crazy reaction where they all get split out, and Super Buu he starts going like, why would you do that? That was such a mistake. He becomes Kid Buu, and Kid Buu has no, he's just all about killing. He's all about murder and mayhem. He doesn't have any kind of like feelings or anything. He's just like kill, 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 kill. So he at some point blows up planet Earth, killing everybody except for Goku, Vegeta, Hercule, and I think that's it. Maybe somebody else. But anyways, those three, and then the Kais are left, and they go to the planet where the Kais are at. That Goku uses instant transmission. So they go, and there's like a filler episode where Kid Buu's looking for them. Anyways, he finds them on the planet of the Kais. He chases them down. Goku goes Super Saiyan 3. They fight. He's kind of getting his ass kicked. Vegeta tries to hold him off while Goku charges a Spirit Bomb. At this time, somewhere else, they get Dragon Balls that they resurrect everybody that died on everybody good that died from Buu killing everybody, including the planet Earth. So the planet comes back. All the good people come back. Vegeta's like, hey, I need to talk to the planet Earth. I want them to give. I want to talk to everybody, not just planet Earth, but like the universe as a whole. And they're like, we need to get their energy for the Spirit Bomb that Goku's charging up. So Goku's charging the Spirit Bomb, and Vegeta's like talking to people and nobody cares. So this is where Hercule comes in, the people's champ. He says, hey, I need everybody to give us raise your hands. I know it's stupid, but raise your hands. Give us your energy. Goku gets enough energy for the Spirit Bomb to throw it at Kid Buu, kills Kid Buu. He just kind of evaporates, kind of like Cell did, and he's gone forever. That's the end of the Buu saga. Now is the end of Dragon Ball Z. Flash forward to everybody kind of being grown up. Gotenks, Trunks, Gohan and Videl are married. They have a kid. And it's a flash forward, and Goku's in the tournament, and he's fighting this little guy named Oob, which is the reincarnation of the good of Kid Buu. Not to mention that the fat Majin Buu has become good, and he lives. He got spit out by Kid Buu at some point. Anyways, Goku fights Oob, and he's like, wow, you're kind of strong. He's like, I'm going to take this kid who's the reincarnation of Buu. I'm going to take him and train him so he can be like the next strongest warrior. And then he flies off on a dragon with Oob to end Dragon Ball Z while everybody's waving. And that's it. That's the end of Dragon Ball Z. I think I did okay. I think, maybe. Man, I know I missed a lot, and there was probably stuff that was wrong. But man, that was a lot of fun. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure you check out the rest of my channel. I do gaming videos on the daily, and I'll have more stuff like this coming out soon. So make sure you like this video, leave a comment down below, and subscribe if you want to keep up with everything that I do. I appreciate you watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.